A very good evening from the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. This is MBN TV Mega News, a 6 news coming to you live from the 10th Avenue. My name is El Samuels. We go for the headlines.
Supreme Court supervisory jurisdiction overly abused, Justice Akabuafo. In business, African Economic Conference links energy security to trade growth. And on the international front, at least 28 killed, 25 critically injured in Bangkok bar fire.
Details of the stories and more coming up. We're also live across our social media handles on MBN 360. Now let's settle for the details of the story. A justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Emmanuel Achabuafo, has expressed concern over what he describes as excessive use of Supreme Court supervisory jurisdiction, warning that a growing trend risks undermining the authority and independence of the lower courts.
Justice of the Court of Appeal, Emmanuel Akabuafo, says the Supreme Court supervisory jurisdiction is being overly invoked in ways that could weaken the country's judicial system. According to him, the increasing number of applications seeking the intervention of the apex court in matters before lower courts threatens judicial efficiency and may erode confidence in the independence of those courts. Justice Akabuafo stressed that the Supreme Court's supervisory powers should be exercised sparingly and only in exceptional circumstances where there has been a clear miscarriage of justice or a fundamental breach of the law. He urged legal practitioners and litigants to make greater use of the established appeals process instead of routinely seeking the Supreme Court's intervention, noting that preserving the proper hierarchy of the courts is essential to strengthening Ghana's justice delivery system.
Away from the judicial issues, the founder and the general overseer of Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, has blamed Ghana's persistent flooding on what he described as years of failed leadership, poor planning, and weak enforcement of Ghana's governing sanitation and urban development.
Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams says Ghana's recurring flood disasters are not merely the result of heavy rainfall, but a reflection of failed leadership and poor governance. The respected clergyman argues that successive governments have failed to enforce planning regulations, protect waterways, and address the country's sanitation challenges, allowing preventable disasters to recur year after year. He stressed that the loss of lives, destruction of property, and displacement of families during floods should serve as a wake-up call for authorities to prioritize long-term solutions over short-term interventions. Archbishop Duncan Williams called for accountable leadership, disciplined urban planning, and collective responsibility from both government and citizens, insisting that Ghana has the capacity to end the cycle of devastating floods if the right decisions are taken and consistently implemented.
Presidents, kings, and those in authority, this is one major reason. If you don't have any reason to pray for those in authority and the president, this is one of the reasons, because it's going to take a lot of courage and audacity to correct these flood issues. And that's why I'm showing this tape from 1995. And these are the reasons. Try to move just 10 people or 100 houses from the way, you are in trouble. Any president who tries that without God's intervention is committing political suicide. We need a new Ghanaian. We need a new Ghana. We need a new Accra to save the future of generations yet unborn. To do that, we might need about 10,000 houses built outside the city and to relocate all these people out there. I don't know what it will cost. I'm not a politician. It's going to take a lot of money to relocate them and to clear all these buildings to build a new Accra with proper planning. So we have a serious challenge, and everyone who comes into authority, doesn't matter which side of the aisle you belong to, MPP, NDC, you have challenges to face. You will inherit these problems. I look forward to the day that we will have a president and a party that will not mind losing election to correct these problems. At the present situation, with the kind of democracy we are operating, 4 years, maximum 8 years, I don't know any president who can fix this problem. If you compare Ghana to Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, and other countries like South Korea, Finland, and others that were more developed than them. If you go to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, they've moved on.
Now moving on, we go to the Economic and Organized Crime. Iyoko says a former executive secretary of the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, Dennis Miracle Abuaji, and others under the investigation over the alleged misappropriation, division, and theft of approximately 55 million Ghana citizen public funds.
The Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, has confirmed that Dennis Edward Abuaji, popularly known as Dennis Miracles Abuaji, is under investigation over alleged financial and procurement-related irregularities involving about 55 million cedis in public funds. According to EOCO, the investigation stemmed from a petition submitted by the current Executive Secretary of the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, requesting further inquiries into a forensic audit covering the period from August 2022 to February 2025. The anti-graft agency said the probe focuses on the suspected misappropriation, misapplication, diversion, and theft of public funds and forms part of a broader investigation involving other former officials of the Secretariat. EOCO has assured the public that the investigation will be conducted professionally, impartially, and in accordance with the law, stressing that all persons under investigation are entitled to due process until the matter is determined.
Meanwhile, supporters of the opposition New Patriotic Party, the NPP, gathered at the headquarters of Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, in Accra, calling for the release of Dennis Miracle Abuaji, who is being investigated over the alleged diversion of public funds.
Scores of supporters of the New Patriotic Party converged at the headquarters of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, in Accra to demand the release of Dennis Miracle Abuaji. The supporters chanted party slogans and expressed solidarity with the former government official, describing the investigation as politically motivated and calling for due process to be respected. Dennis Miracle Abuaji is currently under investigation by EOCO over allegations involving the diversion and misappropriation of approximately 55 million Ghana cedis in public funds. The anti-graft agency maintains that the investigation is ongoing and that no conclusions have been reached. Security personnel maintained a strong presence at the EOCO premises to ensure law and order, while party officials urged supporters to remain peaceful as the legal process continues.
President should even have access to a lawyer. Are we not supposed to have access to lawyers? Are we not supposed to know why we have been arrested? Are we not supposed to be at the table to know the next steps forward? But there is always the modus operandi why EOCO, and when you are traveling, then they come and arrest you at the airport when you have never been invited or told about any offense. It's just getting too bad. I keep saying that when we go on this tangent, it will get to a stage people will not sit and watch and wait. They will revolt. When you keep pressing the necks of people, they will want to scream. I don't know why EOCO has this modus operandi and we are just allowing it. And the CSOs have gone to sleep, all manner of people have gone to sleep, and we are watching. It may be my turn, it may be your turn. Tomorrow it will be their turn. Nobody will come and stand here and be screaming. Why? What's happening? And President Mama is overseeing this. It's not okay. That anytime, can you ask EOCO whether or not they've ever invited Miracle Abuaji? Nobody has ever invited him. Don't wait for him to be traveling. You don't know even if it has to do with the health situation. You don't even know the purpose of the travel. Then you just go and arrest him. And when you arrest him, you don't give him access to lawyers. You don't give him access to his family. Nobody knows where he is. Do you know where he is? Can you tell me where he is? Are we in a banana republic? We should stop this.
Away from the base of policies, the public health expert Dr. Mahamudu Shaibu says Ghana cannot achieve universal health care without prioritizing health education, stressing that preventive care and public awareness must become central pillars of the country's healthcare system.
Public health expert Dr. Mahamudu Shaibu has identified health education as the missing link in Ghana's quest to achieve universal health care. According to him, while investments in hospitals, medical equipment, and health insurance remain important, many preventable diseases continue to place pressure on the healthcare system because of inadequate public awareness and poor health-seeking behavior. Dr. Shaibu believes empowering citizens with knowledge on disease prevention, sanitation, nutrition, and healthy lifestyles would significantly reduce the burden on health facilities and improve health outcomes nationwide. He is therefore urging policymakers to integrate comprehensive health education into schools, communities, and national public health campaigns, insisting that prevention remains the most cost-effective path toward achieving universal health care.
Away from the warning of Dr. Shaibu, we move to the northern part of the country, precisely Yendi, where the late overlord of the Dagon Kingdom, Yana Abubakar Muhammad II, has been laid to rest in the early hours of today, Monday, at the Gbewa Palace in Yendi, in accordance with the Dagon custom, ushering the kingdom into an official period of mourning.
The Dagbon Kingdom has entered a period of mourning following the burial of its overlord, Yana Abubakar Muhammad II, at dawn in Yendi. The late king was laid to rest at the Royal Mausoleum within the Gbewa Palace in line with centuries-old Dagbon traditions. The solemn rites were laid by the Kugana and the Dagbon Council of Elders, with only selected elders and members of the royal family present during the final burial ceremony. Yana Abubakar Muhammad II, who ascended with scheme in 2019, is widely credited with helping restore peace and unity in Dagbon.
May the soul of Indayana Abubakar Muhammad II rest in peace. And on that sad note, we wrap up the major stories making headlines. Coming up after the break, we'll bring you business, the details with Na Dede Gogo.
So there's some local passo. Baba, me again. Let's all yell it. Look what you mean. Oh, unity. Mentiment sent my friend doctor when I'm crossing over. So what was swearing? Yes, malaria. Malaria. Oh, what is it with the router? The corporate labs. A drone a friend router mixer. Yeah, come on, let it draw. And running so cat trap and the draw ku abaso body ase wabo ruta mixture abaso ruta natural products running ruta mixture ya de kutia atri ruta tonic and the ruta life wa ehuru efin srade bone efin paduam nasa support immune system no ruta de obi ase ye FDA ade dwege nkrato ya tu
Welcome back from the break. This is the business news with me, Nadia Gugu. In business, participants at the African Economic Conference have underscored the critical role of energy security in driving trade, industrialization, and sustainable economic growth across the continent, calling for increased investment in reliable and affordable energy infrastructure.
Energy security has emerged as a key focus at the African Economic Conference, with policymakers, economists, and business leaders stressing that reliable access to energy is essential for expanding trade and accelerating Africa's economic transformation. Speakers at the conference noted that frequent power shortages, inadequate infrastructure, and high energy costs continue to hinder industrial productivity, cross-border trade, and investment across many African countries. They called for stronger regional cooperation, increased investment in renewable energy, and the development of integrated power systems to ensure stable electricity supply and support the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Participants concluded that improving energy security is not only vital for economic resilience, but also for creating jobs, boosting competitiveness, and unlocking Africans' full trade and development potential.
Moving on, Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, says Ghana spends approximately $350 million every year in poultry production, describing the situation as a major drain on the country's foreign exchange and a threat to the local poultry production.
Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, says Ghana continues to spend about $350 million annually importing poultry products despite the country's potential to produce enough chicken to meet domestic demand. According to the minister, the heavy dependence on imported poultry is placing a numerous pressure on Ghana's foreign exchange reserves while limiting the growth of the local poultry industry. He says government is implementing measures to revive the sector through increased investments, improved access to quality feed and breeding stock, and stronger support for local poultry farmers. Mr. Opoku expressed confidence that with sustained policy interventions and private sector collaboration, Ghana can significantly reduce poultry imports, strengthen food security, create jobs, and boost country's agricultural economy.
Boosting household food and nutrition security. Boosting household food and nutrition excellently. That is why we have the backyard. Once the people are rearing the bears, they will now have to eat some of the bears. But they don't have to eat all. They have to sell some and then reinvest. That was the caution I sounded when I appeared before Parliament. That look, you have raised the bears. That is excellent. But once you have been considered and given even 10, 20, 50, whatever you are given, you have the right. You are a human being. You cannot leave the bears there and then go to the market to buy chicken to come and eat whilst you have it. So consume some, but don't consume everything. We don't have any amount or number for you to consume. Okay. But what we are saying is that we want you to see it as a business, as a seed for you to grow and live on. If you want to boost household food security and nutrition, consumption is part of it. In any case, what are bears raised for? Are they clocks to be fixed on the wall for people to look at? They are meant for consumption and the local consumption. So even when you encourage them to sell, they are selling to local people for consumption. So the ultimate of this investment is to boost local consumption so that people can develop taste for locally produced bears. And that will shift the demand for imported poultry to locally produced ones. Because as we speak, on annual basis, we spend $350 million United States dollars to import poultry products into Ghana. That huge amount of money is creating jobs in those countries at the expense and peril of the youth of our nation. And that is why we said that with this project, we are going to unlock the full potential of the poultry subsector for job creation.
Let's go for a break. Farai joins with sports and entertainment.
Hi, welcome to Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth. Our serene environment and cozy rooms provides a pleasant stay. To book a room with us, call 055 5940 and 0241 972076. Locate us at Teshinungwa Estate, number 8 Coconut Street, directly behind A Life Supermarket. Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth.
Now, welcome back from that break. My name is Farah Ayi, and I'm bringing you the sports news. Now in sports, Spain star Benjamin Azamati and high jumper Rose Amwenima Yeboah will spearhead Ghana's 40-member contingent for the upcoming Commonwealth Games, as the nation aims for a strong showing across multiple sporting disciplines.
Ghana has officially unveiled a 14-member team for the upcoming Commonwealth Games, with sprinter Benjamin Azamati and high jumper Rose Yeboah leading the country's medal hopes. The squad comprises athletes from several disciplines including athletics, boxing, swimming, weightlifting and para sports, reflecting Ghana's determination to compete strongly on the international stage. Team officials says preparation have intensified in recent weeks, with athletes undergoing rigorous training to ensure they are in peak condition ahead of the competition. The Ghana Olympics Committee and the Ministry of Sports have expressed confidence in the team's ability to make the nation proud, urging Ghanaians to rally behind the athletes as they compete for medals and national glory.
Up next is entertainment news.
Mfitiasie no mene me kunu eware wo odro ene asumdwe kwanso da ware na chi no mene kwacho ba hotel pop pebi say ye besepeyo. What a chief for so crown na maye
bibia wo nyankopon sem
ekoba ne sa me kunu antina se
edro botum wajo eye edek SM Bites
wa eni gia befi we na me de yem Bible edek SM Bites timase mama me
so wa worry mu eni je bewie o paya na ye kamfo edek SM Bites Mrs. Wa oyem ye onyina monno me no okọ one.
Welcome back from that break. Now in entertainment, award-winning Ghanaian dancehall artist Shatta Wale has announced the release of his highly anticipated album, African King, scheduled to drop on July 17th, promising fans a bold project celebrating African excellence and his musical evolution.
Ghanaian dance hall star Shatta Wale is set to release his latest album, African King, on July 17th. The award-winning musician described the project as one of the most ambitious works, blending Afrobeat, dancehall and other contemporary African sounds to showcase the continent's creativity and global influence. According to Shatta Wale, the album reflects the growth as an artist and carries messages of resilient success and African pride, whilst featuring the collaboration aimed at reaching audience beyond the continent. Music enthusiasts are eagerly awaiting the release, with industry observers expecting African King to further strengthen Shatta Wale's presence on international music scene and reinforce Ghana's growing influence in global entertainment.
That's all for sports and entertainment with me, Farah Ayi. Up next is the international news with El Samuels.
I'm Hannah, I'm from Austria, and I spent the last 6 weeks, I think, here in Maranatha, and so far it has been a very great experience. I feel like once I came to school, I felt very welcome. I felt a very nice, friendly environment towards me from the teachers, but also from the kids, and I had the feeling right away that the kids really like to come here, so they feel really happy, they feel really safe here, they learn a lot, and yeah, I think it talks a lot about the quality of the school. If the kids feel comfortable and they like to go to school, they feel happy, and that's one reason why I would really recommend the school, because first of all, I feel like the kids feel comfortable, but on the other hand, they also learn a lot. The teachers are really well educated, they know how to handle the kids, and also considering the facility, the school has a lot to offer. So there's a science lab, there's a computer room where the kids can learn how to handle a computer, there's a library where they can educate themselves with books and different material, there's also a playground outside, especially also for the younger kids, and there's also a waiting room where they can wait for their parents to come and pick them up. Glory Hill Academy, truth, wisdom and knowledge. Bye bye!
Welcome back from the sports, entertainment and business desk. It's now time to turn our attention to the foreign front, where at least 28 people have been killed, 25 others critically injured after a devastating fire swept through a bar in Bangkok, Thailand, prompting a major emergency response as authorities investigate the cause of the blaze.
Thai authorities say at least 28 people have lost their lives following a fire at a bar in the capital, Bangkok. The blaze, which broke out while patrons were inside the establishment, spread rapidly, trapping several people and leaving dozens with severe burns and other critical injuries. Emergency responders rushed to the scene to extinguish the fire and rescue survivors, while the injured were transported to nearby hospitals for treatment. Authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the fire, including whether safety regulations were observed, as the country mourns one of its deadliest entertainment venue disasters in recent years.
Things happened very quickly, and there was blasting, and everybody tried to flee themselves from the smokes and the flame. So many of them were not able to make their way out because they went to the back of the building, tried to hide themselves away from the smokes and flames in the toilet, and that's where we found most of the bodies. Right now, we have been able to bring the deceased bodies out. There are already 27 bodies. The rest were sent to hospitals already, and we are still checking their condition.
Away from Bangkok, the Thailand capital, will move to Sudan, where a Sudanese court has sentenced the leader of the Military Rapid Support Force, RSF, Mohammed Hadan, Dagola, to death for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide over atrocities committed in the Western Darfur region.
A court in Port Sudan, an area under the control of the army, convicted Dagalo, known as Hemeti in absentia, along with 15 other senior RSF members who were given the same sentence. The RSF has not commented on the verdict, but previously rejected accusations of war crimes during the conflict. The trial centered on alleged atrocities committed in the regional capital, El Geneina, including June 2023 killing of the state governor, Khamis Abakar. The court also found the 16 defendants guilty of orchestrating attacks on civilians, widespread destruction and looting of property, and the targeting of schools, places of worship, and residential neighborhoods. This ruling is the first judicial conviction of the RSF's leadership since civil war broke out. However, its impact remains unclear as the group continues to control large parts of Western Sudan and its leaders remain beyond the reach of the army.
And that does it for this evening bulletin. Live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Great Estate in Nwa and Dugano. But before we take a leave of you, a recap of the headlines.
Supreme Court supervisory jurisdiction overly abused, Justice Akabuafo. In business, African Economic Conference links energy security to trade growth. And on the international front, at least 28 killed, 25 critically injured in Bangkok bar fire.
Thanks for staying with us. For more news, log on to MBN 360. The news was read, business with Na Dede Gogo, sports and entertainment with Farah Ai. My name is El Samuel. Have a good evening.